All right, we're almost ready for our ceremony. As people start to come in, then please locate your cloth if you can, and try to strategically sit near it, or at least know where it is, so you're not looking for it at the very end. So when you do come in, please, at least come in and locate exactly where your cloth is, if with your name on it. No, Nyom Nong is going to do that. And that's actually before the 5 precepts. So I will announce, okay, now we're going to a Ratana proper. Then I will announce, okay, now we're going to a Ratana 5 precept. Yeah. Right now, I only have 36 names that we will recite, and I suspect that maybe I'm missing a few. So whoever is the master of names might want to check my sheet, and I can handwrite any additional names on the sheet to be announced. I may not have all of them. There's only 36 here. I feel like there should be more. So a lot of these dedications are coming in. This is going into the auspicious pewter bowl. The reason it's auspicious is because it's from Longpa Pasano. He bought it when he was a layman. He bought it when he was a layman in Pakistan, I think, actually. Or it might have been northern Thailand. But it's definitely got some history. So this is our Kathina boon sharing bowl. It's the Buddha's life story.
Did he give it to his mom? Van rides for people to their parked vehicles.
Yeah. So after the ceremony, also there will be a van shuttle going up to the upper parking lot for people. So you don't have to walk up unless you would like some exercise. We do get a lot of good exercise here at Abhayagiri, walking up the hills. But if you would like a van shuttle ride, the van shuttle rides will be going up after. And then actually, if your car is parked in our upper parking lot near our workshop, you don't have to exit down this way. You can actually exit out toward Casa Serena, and you'll reach Tomkai Road very quickly. So just to make a note that, yeah, there will be shuttle rides going up after the ceremony, after the Dhamma talk. Hemiko and Sudiko. Maybe at the end.
That's what I mean, just at some point, like if you need a ride.
Yeah, because he's only one person who's doing rides. It's not just him. Tanrakito just talked to me about the van going up. So.
Thanks.
All right, so I think a critical mass, enough of us have gathered that we can begin our Kathina ceremonies. That's pretty good. Pretty good timing. I have to check my Kathina cheat sheet here. Yeah, just to say welcome once again to everybody who's here. And some people may have had to leave already, but most of you are staying now for this Kathina ceremony 2025. And we'll just begin by, I'll light the candles and incense, and we'll do a preliminary homage to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and then I'll give a bit more of an introduction to how we're going to conduct the day today.
Namo Yassa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Dhammaya Bhagavantam Sadhammam Sasangham Imehi Sakarehi Yataraham Arobhitehi Abhipujayama Sadhu no Bhante Bhagava Sujira Parini Buddhopi Atima Janata Nukam Pamanasa Ime Sakare Dugatapana Karabute Patiganatu Amakandi Garatam Hitaya Sukaya Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivati Soakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammanassami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami Andamayang Buddhassa Bhagavato Pupapa Ganamakarangaro Mase Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa
Okay, and welcome again, everybody, to this year's Kathina ceremony. So for this year's Kathina ceremony, a good dear friend of ours, Yom Nit, she was going to be here. She was looking forward to being here. Many people know her, good friend. She had another stroke, another very severe stroke, and is on life support right now, so she was planning on coming today. So anybody who knows her, I thought we could start by saying, nice to dedicate the merit to her, as if you knew her, and she's probably well, I would be very surprised if she was not here right now in spirit with us, because she was very much looking forward to this Kathina. And so yeah, I've been thinking about her a lot and wanting to spread metta, dedicate the boon for her on this auspicious day. And also just to welcome everybody. There's families here and people who come every year, people who are new, who haven't necessarily come every year. So it's just great kind of coming together of our wider Dhamma family. And what we're going to be doing for this ceremony this afternoon is just, we begin by doing Paritta chanting to call the devas, all the forces of goodness, to bear witness, any devas in the region. Probably most of them are here already in human form. So, but then if there's any devas who might have gotten a little bit distracted or didn't know about what's happening here, then we can call them to come as well. There's Paritta chanting, and then after that, There'll be the requesting of the 3 refuges and 5 precepts. I'll read the history of the Kathina, and then the offering, the formal Kathina offering will take place. So without further ado, I'll invite Yom Nong to Ratana Praparit. Is the floor moved on?
Harituvana metang sameta patanta avikita citta paritang manantu sake kame charupe kirishikaratate chantalike vimane dipe rate chakame tarvanagahane havatumikete Kummachayantu deva chalatal vismeyaka kandapanaga Titanta santike yang munivara vachanang satavo me sunantu Dhammasuvanakhalo ayam batantha Dhammasuvanakhalo ayam batantha Dhammasuvanakhalo Aheyam Vadanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Dhammam saranang gacchāmi Sangham saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Dhammam saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Sangham saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Dhammam saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Sangham saranang gacchāmi Yoca Pumamo Amalapagato Samang Wabuddho Sugato Vimuddho Marasapasa Vinimochayanto Pape Sikemang Janatang Vinayang Buddhaṃ Varantang Sirasa Namami Lokasanatan Cha Vinayakan Cha Tante Cha Sate Jaya Siddhi Hotu Sabandaraya Charina Samentu Dhammo Dajoyo Viyata Sasatu Dase Siloka Savisuddhi Magang Niyaniko Dhammadara Sadari Satavaho Santikaro Suchinno Dhammang Varantang Sirasa Namami Moha Padalang Upasantadahang Tante Jasate Jaya Siddhi Hotu Sabandaraya Charina Samentu Sadhammasena Sugatanugoyo Loka Sapapua Pakile Sajekta Santo Sayang Santiniyo Jako Chasawakata Dhammang Viditang Karoti Sangang Varantang Sirasa Namami Buddha นุพุทธังสมัสสิลติติงทันเทจะสาเทจยสิติโหตุสัพพันตรายะจารินาสเมนตุนะโมอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะมะเหสิโนนะโมพุทธมธัมมาสัสสวะคาตาเสวะเตนิดานะโมมหาสังฆัสสะปิวิสุทธัสสิลติติโนนะโมโอมาตยาราดาสรัตนาตยาสสะดุขังนะโมโอมะกาติตาสตาสวัตตุตยาสปินะโมการะภะภาเวนะวิกัจฉันตุอุปาโตปานะโมการานุภาเวนะสุวัตติโหตุสัพพะทานะโมการะสะเทเจนะวิดิมิโหมิเทจวะเสวนาชปัลลานังปันดิธานังจะเสวนาปูจาจะปูจนิยานังเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังปฏิรูปเดสวาโสจะภูเบจะกตปุญญาตาอัตตสัมมาปณิริจเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังปาหุสัจจันจะสิปัญจเวนโยจะสุสิกิโตสุภาสิทาชยาวาจาเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังมาตาปิตุอุปาทานังพุทธดาราสสังฆโหอนาคุลาจะคัมมันตาเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังดานันจะดัมมจริยาจัญญาตกานันจะสังฆโหอนาวาจานิคัมมานิเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังอารติวิรติปาปะมาจะปานาจะสัญญโมอาปมาโนจะธัมเมสุเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังการะโวจะนิวัตโตจะสันตุติจะกตัญยุตากาเลนะธัมมาสวนังเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังคันติจะโสวชัสสตาสมานานันจะดาสนะกาเลนะธัมมสักขะจาเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังทัพโพจะพรหมจริยังจะอริยสัจจานตัสสนะนิพพานสัจจะกิริยาจะเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังพุทธัสสะโลกธัมเมหิจิตตังยาสนะคัมปติยโสคังวิรจังเขมังเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังเอตานิสานิคตวานัสสะปัตถมปราจิตาสัพพะตโสทิงกัจจันติทันเตสัมมังกลมุตตมันติเมตัญชะสัพพโลกัสสมิงมานะสัมมาปะเยอปริมาณังกุตังอโดจะทิริยัญจะสัมปาดังอเวรังคัสสะปะตังทิตังจรังนิสิโนวาสยามโนวายาวทัสสวิกตมิโตเอตังสติงอดิเทยพรหมเมตังวิหารังอิดามาหุดิติงชะอนุปกรรมสีลวะตัสสเนนะสัมภาโนคาเมสุเวนยเกตานาริจาตุกาปัสเสยังปุณเรติติยังคินชีวิตังอิดาวาหุรังวาสาเกสุวายังรัตนังปานิตังนโนสมังคาติตตากเตนะอิดัมปิปุเตรัตนังปานิตังเอเทนะสัจเจนะสุวัติโหตุขยังวิรากังอมตังปานิตังยดาจกาสัยมุนีสมาหิโตนะเท สมาธิคินชิกิดัมปิดัมเมรัตนังปณิตังเนเทนะสาเจนะสวัสติโหตุยัมปุตตะเสโตปริวานาอิสุจิงสมาดิมานันตริกัญญมากุสมานินาเทนะสมุนาวิจติดัมปิดัมเมรัตนังปณิตังเอเทนะสาเจนะสวัสติโหตุเยภูกลาอาตัสสะทังปัสสัตตาชาตาริเอตานิยุกานิโหนติเตตาคิเนยสุกตัสสะสาวกะเอเตสุตินนานิมหาปลานิอิดัมปิสังเกรัตนังปณิตังเอเทนะสาเจนะสุวัสติโหตุเยสุปยุตตามนัสสะตาเทนะนิกามิโนโกตมัสสะสนามิเตปาติปาตาอมตังมิกายลาดามุดานิปุติงกุญจมานะอิดัมปิสังเกรัตนังปณิตังเอเทนะสาเจนะสุวัสติโหตุขีนังปุรานังนาวังนาติสัมภวังวิรัตจิตตายติเกภวัสมิงเทขีนะปิจาอวิรุลิชันดานิปันติดีรายะทายังภริโปอิดัมปิสังเกรัตนังปณิตังเอเทนะสาเจนะสุวัสติโหตุทุกขปาตาชนิทุกขปยาปาตาชนิปยาโสกปาตาชนิโสกหนตุสัพเพปิปานิโนเอตาวตาชะอัมเหหิสัมปทังปุญญสัมปดาสัพเพเทวานุโมดันตุสัพพสัมปติสิทธิยาตานังดดันตุสัทธายสีลังราคันตุสัพพดาภาวนาวิรตาโหนตุกัจฉันตุเทวตากตาสัพเพพุทธาปาปาตาปัจเจกานัญชยังบาลังอรหันทานัญชเตเจนะรักขังบันดามิสัพพโสมหาการุณิโกนาโตวิทายาสัพพปานินังปุเรวะปารมิสัพพปะโตสัมโพธิมุตตมะเอเทนะสัจจวาเจนะโหตุเตจยมังกลังจยันโตโพธิยามุเลสักยานังนันดิวาดโนเอวังทวังวิจโยโหหิจยาสุจยมังกเลอปราจิตปาลังเคสีเสปัตวิโภคเรอวิเศเกสัพพุทานังอากาปะโตภโมดติสุนาคาตังสุมังกลังสุปปาตังสุหุติตังสุขโนสุโมโหโตชัสสุเยตังพระมจารีสุปดาคินังกายคัมมังวาจาคัมมังปดาคินังปดาคินังมโนคัมมังปณิดิเตปดาคินังปดาคินานิคตวานลปันตเตปดาคิเน
We'll invite Chow to lead the lay community in the Aratana Sinha. So people could come up onto your haunches if you'd be interested in taking the three refuges and the 5 precepts.
Mayang Pante Tikrane Nasa Panja Sila Niyajama Tutiyam Mayang Pante Tikrane Nasa Panja sila niyajama Tatiyam pitmayam hante Tisrane nasaha Panja sila niyajama
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Bhutang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Bhutang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Bhutang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Ti sarana kamanang nititang.
Amatmante.
Panatipata veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Adina dana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Adina dana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Game sumichachara veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Kami sumichachara veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Sura mirayama chapamadatana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Sura miraya macapamatana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Imani pancha sikapadani silena sugating yanti silena boga sampada silena nibuting yanti tasama silang visodaye. Okay, having chanted the paritas and taken the refuges and the 5 precepts, that's like clearing the air or setting the foundation for the sacred territory, the consecrated space where the Kathina offering can happen. And the next part of the ceremony is I will just do something that I've heard Ajahn Amaro and Ajahn Pasano do so many times, is to read this Kathina ceremony announcement. And after I read this announcement, then what's going to happen is our 2 formal Kathina recipient monks will then ascend the Kathina seats here, and then each then after that there'll be a call and a repeat announcement that'll be done in terms of formally offering all of the Kathina cloth. So I'll start by reading this Kathina ceremony announcement to give a bit of background, a bit of a history of the Kathina ceremony, and then we'll take it from there. This is the main part of the ceremony. Before the Kathina ceremony begins, we would like to take this opportunity to explain a little about its origins as a Buddhist custom. The offering of Kathina cloth by the laity to the bhikkhu sangha is a tradition which has been carried on since the time of the Lord Buddha more than 2,500 years ago. It was established as a ceremonial act to celebrate both the relationship between the laity and the sangha and the spirit of concord within the sangha itself. It was first allowed by the Lord Buddha to a group of 30 monks who were observers of many of the austere practices. They had wished to spend the 3 months' rains retreat with him, but having been unable to reach the monastery where he was staying in time, had to spend the rains nearby. They regretted their missed opportunity, thinking, "The Lord is staying close to us, but we are not getting a chance to see him." Nevertheless, they passed the 3 months harmoniously together and, as soon as they could, despite inhospitable roads and continuing rain, with drenched robes and in a state of weariness, they made their way to Savatthi to see him. Perhaps by way of encouragement and to reward their noble efforts, it was after receiving them that the Kathina ceremony and its privileges were established by the Buddha. The Lord Buddha laid down many stipulations in order to make the offering of this cloth and the sewing of it into a robe an act of great importance to both the laity and the sangha. It is an offering that could be made only once a year at any one monastery, and only where 5 or more bhikkhus have spent the rains retreat together. The cloth must be clean, freely given, and its donation must not have been instigated by the monastic community in any way. Once it has been offered to the bhikkhu sangha, it must be cut and sewn into a completely finished robe during the course of that same day. Customarily, all the bhikkhus of that monastery participate in the sewing of the robe. In this way, it becomes an act affirming the harmonious and communal nature of the sangha. Once it has been sewn, it is then offered to one bhikkhu decided upon by the sangha as being worthy of the gift. For the laity, the Kathina offering is a symbolic expression of their faith in the sangha and a reaffirmation of their eagerness to cooperate harmoniously together in order to provide for its material needs. According to the Lord Buddha, the Kathina cloth is the most meritorious of all material gifts that can be made to a sangha, bringing superlative benefits to those who have offered it. The sangha and the laity are now all assembled. If there is to be a Kathina ceremony, then this is now the time for it to begin. Can we invite our monks up? Okay, so now I will invite Yom Jitima Pangsapa to do the official Kathina offering announcement, which will be a call and repeat. So she'll say, it starts in Pali, and then she'll do it in Thai, and then Mr. Jung will do it in the call and repeat in English. So 3 languages, a Kathina announcement. And if the Sangha then we can have our hands in Anjali when they're doing this announcement.
ปฏิฆาเทตวา
ปฏิฆาเทตวา
จะอิมินา
จะอิมินา
ทุเสนะกัทินัง
ตุเสนะกัตถินัง
อัจจยัตตุ
อัตตารัตตุ
อัมหากัน
อัมหากัง
ทีหารตัง
ทีฆารตัง
หิตายะ
หิตายะ
สุขายะ
สุขายะ
ข้าแต่พระสงฆ์ผู้เจริญ
ข้าแต่พระสงฆ์ผู้เจริญ
ข้าพเจ้าทั้งหลาย
ข้าพเจ้าทั้งหลาย
ขอน้อมถวาย
ขอน้อมถวาย
กฐินจีวร
ผ้ากฐินจีวร
ทั้งบริวารทั้งหลายเหล่านี้
กับทั้งบริวารทั้งหลายเหล่านี้
แด่พระสงฆ์
แด่พระภิกษุสง
พระ
ฆ์
สงฆ์โปรดรับผ้ากฐินจีวร
ขอพระภิกษุสงฆ์จงรับผ้ากฐินจีวร
กับทั้งบริวารทั้งหลายเหล่านี้
กับทั้งบริวารทั้งหลายเหล่านี้
ของข้าพเจ้าทั้งหลาย
ของข้าพเจ้าทั้งหลาย
รับแล้ว
รับแล้ว
ได้โปรดกรากฐินด้วยผ้านี้
ขอจงรับกฐินด้วยผ้านี้
เพื่อประโยชน์และความสุข
เพื่อประโยชน์และความสุข
แก่ข้าพเจ้าทั้งหลาย
แก่ข้าพเจ้าทั้งหลาย
สิ้นกาลนานเถิด
สิ้นกาลนานเถิด
Go to the English.
Please repeat after me. We have all gathered
We have all gathered
here today
here today
to offer Kathina cloth
to offer Kathina cloth
and other requisites
and other requisites
to the sangha.
to the Sangha.
We request
We request
that the sangha
that the Sangha
receive these offerings
receive these offerings
of Kathina cloth
of Kathina cloth
and other requisites
and other requisites
for our long-lasting benefit
for our long-lasting benefit
and happiness.
and happiness.
We wish to dedicate
We wish to dedicate
the well-being
the well-being
coming from our offerings
coming from our offerings
to our relatives and friends,
to our relatives and friends,
and particularly
and particularly
to our parents.
to our parents.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be happy.
Okay, now this is the fun part. We start to, the cloth may be offered now, and our official receiver monks will have their hands on that silver tray, and each cloth will be set on that tray. So people can, maybe we'll start with just whichever cloths are in the front here, and then it'll work itself out. Yeah, we can be whisking it away in two different directions. Maybe don't take it too far away. Have like a couple piles on both sides.
Do you know which one we're
We'll have to figure it out after. So yeah, like stacking it. See Tissero, see where I'm pointing, like on the ground right there. Yeah. That whole area.
pull it? Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, first. That's the same as you.
As people are offering cloth, I just am reminded and recognizing that people from many different countries, it's not just Thailand. So if we do a Kathina in Thailand, it's normally just Thai people offering the cloth, but here we have Thai, Laotian, Indian, Cambodian, Vietnamese, even Korean, many different countries, Sri Lanka, Burma, Chinese, Japanese, Malaysia, Singapore, really everybody from who come, the American diaspora offering Kathina cloth. We actually had a group of 25 people from Kazakhstan visit the other day as well. They came to admire the green Buddha. They didn't know that's why they came, but that is why they came. There's actually university students and professors doing a Buddhist studies program in Kazakhstan. That they spoke very good English, brought their families, and just kind of very interested in what is this place that pops up on Google Maps. That's it. Also, before our receiver monks do their official announcement, we're going to do things a little bit differently this year. And before they do their announcement, I'll actually read the names of all the cloth donors this year. And I know I'm going to miss a few people because it looks like there's some extras who were last-minute add-ons, so I apologize ahead of time if I miss anybody. And but it doesn't decrease the boon in any way. It decreases my boon, but not your boon. Yeah. We're not having them recite it this year. I was going to read the names so they don't. And Apple, you have the one from you and Hui? The one from Hui? Which, yeah.
I think so.
Because I lost track of that one from Hui. That's the one. So I think it's that one. Okay, so before the reciter monks do their announcements, I'm just going to read out the names of the donors, and apologies if I miss anybody or if I pronounce it wrongly. So this year's Kathina cloth donations are from Jitima Pangsapa, Sokngo Lee and relatives, Chalita Andrew and Alicia Lee, Sahajatala, who is not able to be here today, Lalita Suk Samlani, Chalida Oran Ratana, William Joseph Swales and Pakpon Chonsawat of Earth Roamer, Sumana Meisener, Linda Ward, Shutenton Dauruang, Hui Hatta Git Jamrern, Parita Wilanant, Sirada and David Tomez, Kwan Ruan Malaitong, Jade and Paul Davis, Rawinda Klongsakon, Soy Sirin and Stephen Bernard, students of Dharma Realm Buddhist University, Wipawari Suk Chalern Sup, Kittipat Haman and Nikki Folks, Nantia Bunyatin, Mucharin Samuton Ratanakun, the Shelton and Siri Puangsakon family, Patcharanan Surya Mete Tanakit, Sirada Suntasiri, the Homglen Aibun Group, friends and family, Laksana Chuangpia and family, Supapan Sri Tanyalak, Kunya Champai Road, students of Dhammakaya Silicon Valley, Ethan Narvez and family, Tatsani Wutasri, Douglas Craig and Warrenton Craig, Jarurin Pua, Mariah and Liam Cochran, Kevin Fugleseth, and Mike Jolliffe. So please, we'll invite the monks to do the official Kathina offering announcement. Please, you can start with Namo Tassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. This Kathina cloth and the offerings present here belong to all the faithful and generous lay people who have gathered together for this occasion. This offering is being made to the sangha which has spent the 3-month rains retreat in this monastery. This Kathina cloth has come in as pure and unsolicited a way as if it had been wafted here on a breeze and settled in the midst of this assembly without favoring anyone in particular. However, the Lord Buddha has made a provision whereby the sangha can agree to choose which among them they would like to receive the cloth. This bhikkhu must be one who knows the rules and observances concerning the Kathina ceremony according to the terms laid down by the Lord Buddha, and must be one who can recite the aims and purposes of Lord Buddha's teachings. He should be pure in moral conduct and have the mindfulness and wisdom to be able to understand the Dhamma in all its facets. This, then, is one who can fulfill all the Lord Buddha's stipulations concerning the offering of the Kathina. And now the assembly of bhikkhus must come to a unanimous decision as to which among them is best suited to receive the Kathina cloth.
This Kathina cloth and all these offerings have been considered suitable for Nyaniko Bhikkhu. He is a bhikkhu of mindfulness and wisdom and can perform the Kathina ceremony correctly according to the way established by the Lord Buddha. If any bhikkhu here disagrees, he should raise his objections now in the midst of this assembly. If everyone agrees, then they should express their agreement by saying sadhu in unison. Sadhu.
3 times, Theravadan. The formal receiver bhikkhus will now return to their seats, and once they do so, we will give the Kathina Anumodana. I'll ask Ajahn Kasapo to do the secondary chanting. I'll give the blessing. Yata varivaha pura paripurendi sagarang evam eva itotinang petanang upakapati chitang patitang tumhang kipameva samichatu sabe purendu sangapa chando panarasoyata manichotirasoyata Sabaro Vinasatu Mate Bhavat Vandarayo Sukhikayo Bhava Abhivadana Silik Samichang Uttapachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayurvano Sukham Palam Kaledaranti Sapanya Vadanyuita Machara Kalena Dinang Ariyesu Ujupute Sutalisu Vipassana Manatasa Vipula Honti Dakina Yetata Anumodanti Veya Vacham Karonti Va Natena Dakina Onate Pipunya Sabagino Tasamadadea Patiwana Chito Yatadina Mahapalam Punyani Paralokasaming Patita Honti Paninanti Bhavatu Sabamangalam Rakantu Sabadevata Sabba Buddha Nubhavena Sadasoti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu
sabba mangalam rakantu sabba devata sabba dhamma nubhavena sarasoti bhavantu te avatu sabba mangalam rakantu sabba devata sabba sangha nubhavena sarasoti bhavantu te.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That completes our Kathina offering ceremony. That was maybe one of the most streamlined that I've seen. It's only 2:02. And I think what we can do is after we pay respects to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, then there will be about a 10-minute break. I would say 2:15. Anybody who's interested in coming and listening to Ajahn Sudanto has offered to give some Dhamma reflections so at 2. We'll plan on doing that at 2:15. And also just to say, this is very wonderful to see everybody coming together. I'm very, very happy about how things are going here and about the state of the lay community. And if you're feeling very peaceful and happy and feeling a sense of refreshment and ease, then that means you're doing something right, that you're practicing something, doing something right, practicing well. And sadhu for that, anumodana for your offerings, and anumodana for your practice. So we'll pay homage to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and then we can take about a 10-minute break.
Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho sangham namami.
Pay respects to the monk. Yeah, and they know the one, they've got it already. So the cloth will be taken away. The
It's on. Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So, good afternoon, everybody. I've been the Patan song, or the most senior monk for the ceremonies, but I haven't had to say much, which is delightful. Just try to sit there and be quiet. But Ajahn Yanako asked me to give a few words today to help celebrate the Kathina gathering that we have here, and it's my great honor and delight to be here. I don't always get down here to Abhayagiri for these Kathina ceremonies, but the last couple of years I've been, and it's one of the highlights of the year when I can get down here and witness such a beautiful gathering of the community and participate. Last year we had a really nice contingent from the Friends of the Dhamma kind of come down and join in, and we have a few here as well today, which is nice. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Ajahn Sudanto, and I'm the senior monk at the Pacific Hermitage in White Salmon, Washington. It's not in Oregon. It's not in Portland. It is in the Pacific Northwest, and it is a peaceful place called the Pacific Hermitage. So, and it's, as Ajahn Yanako said, I guess last night or this morning, it's the first of the branch monasteries established from Abhayagiri Monastery. And I think one thing is rather unique about the gathering that we have this year is oftentimes we have a few more of our elder monks, what I call the pioneer generation, Lumpur Pasano, Lumpur Amro, sometimes Lumpur Viradamo, Ajahn Suchito, Ajahn Jayasaro, visiting us, and they're absent this year. So, and instead it's the youngsters, the next generation, and that's, in some ways that's interesting. In other ways it's a little sad for me. Yeah, kind of certainly missing the presence of Lumpur Pasano this weekend. So, but it's also kind of especially unique in a sort of sense, because myself and the other monks who spent the Vasa at the Pacific Hermitage left the next morning straight away and came down here. Venerable Gino, who's here, and he's been spending time at Abhayagiri and spent the Vasa up at the Hermitage with Venerable Surimedu, who's probably over sewing right now, who's out here from Tisarana Monastery. He ordained under Ajahn Viradamo. And then we had the three monks from the Three Jewels, out in Fort Bragg, who joined us. So it's kind of a homegrown affair, this Kathina, with just the monks from the different hermitages, branch monasteries, gathering with the resident sangha here. But delightful as ever. And for me, there's a lot of different aspects to these gatherings that I enjoy these days. I mean, one is just the very Buddhist contemplation of change. I arrived here 2 years after Abhayagiri was established in early June 1998. And it was more of a Buddhist trailer park than a Buddhist monastery back then. And it's come a long ways. There might be a few trailers in disguise hidden in the forest still, but for the most part we've graduated from the trailer park phase. So, and And aside from just the building of the monastery, of course, is the building of what I consider one of the kind of greatest communities and greatest monasteries in the world. And three themes kind of come to mind on days like this for me. I mean, one is community, and that's very kind of appropriate, sort of with the whole history of the Kathina kind of comes from monks spending the 3-month rains retreat in a particular place, and a local community getting to kind of maybe know the monks on a little bit better basis, support them, get teachings from them. But in the Ajahn Chah tradition, it's also a time where the different branch monasteries make an effort to kind of come together, not just the monks, but also the lay people. That's something, having ordained in Thailand, that I kind of witnessed, and community is a very unique and strong aspect of Lumpur Cha and the communities he established, and his disciples have very much kind of carried that on. It's a little more challenging for the monasteries outside of Thailand because we're spread pretty thin, but we still make an effort to try to gather on regular occasions, and there's a frequent and fresh exchange of monks and lay people bopping around from monastery to monastery, which kind of helps foster this big Dhamma family that we have. So, Abhayagiri in particular has still a very kind of strong connection to our teachers and the sangha sort of in Thailand. Lumpur Pasano and Ajahn Yanako and many of the monks spend regular time and take the effort to go live, train, practice in Thailand, pay respects to teachers, and in just a few days, a large contingent will be kind of going to do just that. I myself am headed that way in a couple days after going out to visit Three Jewels Monastery tomorrow for a couple days. So, it's quite amazing to see the community that's kind of developed here over the years, and all the generosity that kind of goes into that. I myself sort of lived here for much of the first half of the life of Abhayagiri, and I remember there were several sort of surprising things when I first came here, having trained in larger monasteries in Thailand. The first one when I came here was it really was like a trailer park. There's a little house and a garage that had just recently been converted into a Dhamma hall, and a collection of hand-me-down trailers and campers. Lumpur Amaro, Ajahn Amaro, as he was known then, was in a dome tent down on the creek, and a few of the early kutis or monks' huts had been built, and Lumpur Pasana was staying in one of the simpler ones over here, and somehow I ended up with the one that had just been built and developed. I think it was sponsored by Noy Thompson, and kind of intended for Lumpur Pasana, but for some reason he wasn't staying there, so I got this wonderful kuti, which we call the 10 by 10, sort of sitting up on the ridge. And but there wasn't much of a monastic community, which was kind of like the first shock to the system for me, having like ordained and trained at bigger monasteries in Thailand. Ajahn Amaro was out kind of teaching, and in those years he spent, I don't know, I would guess 100 days a year, kind of teaching retreats around the country and visiting all the different Dhamma groups connected to our tradition. And Lumpur Pasana was here, and Ajahn Krunadhammo had just ordained. I think he might have been a bhikkhu for about 2 weeks before I arrived. Ajahn Visuddhi had been here before, but had just left. So I think I had 4 vasas, 4 years experience as a fully ordained bhikkhu. And I was second in line, sitting next to Lumpur Pasano in the old house here. And then Ajahn Kriyanadhamma was next, and we had an African-American novice named Yanamudi, and then a couple people that were in training. Ajahn Jodhipala was still Dawn, not even yet Anagarika Dawn. And so oftentimes in those early years, like there was more guests than there were monastics. And the community had a very different feel to it. It definitely had a California startup feel to it, you know, like there was that kind of energy that we were doing something bold, new, and exciting, which was invigorating. So, and it was nice to be here to kind of participate in that. Ajahn Yanako sir said I had a hand in building everything here, and that's not quite true. But over the years, I was able to participate in a lot of the development of the community and the buildings, and the structures. When I come down here and attend these ceremonies and sit in this hall, it becomes it's my favorite building. One, because I oftentimes just feel a coolness in here, even when I've been here for big ceremonies in the summer, when it's blistering hot outside, and there's several hundred people gathered here. That wasn't much of an experience we had in the early days, but more so because this is one of the bigger buildings that I had nothing to do with, and it's really one of my favorite Dhamma halls. I love the feeling in here, and every time I come down and gather with community here and sit here, I just have a great appreciation. You know, in some ways, it's all the learning and all the generosity and dana sort of has a kind of momentum to it. I was there, kind of spinning the flywheel, I guess, for a number of years, and then went off to sort of build the hermitage. But like all the contributions, all the thousands and thousands of contributions of food, of robes, of time, of money, of effort, of Dhamma teaching, you know, it all has this kind of momentum, and in some ways the physical monastery, and more importantly the sangha, the community that we have here, the training that's on offer, the teachings that are on offer, are really kind of a byproduct of all that generosity over the years. I think to my dying day, I'll have a tremendous sense of gratitude that I was able to both witness and play some role in that, because these communities are really a shining kind of gem in the world, and really a rarity. I mean, there are thousands, tens of thousands of monasteries in the world, but it's rare to find a monastery where the monks have the range of experience, the sincerity, really study and live so carefully by the Vinaya that the Buddha laid down, and that our teachers have kind of carefully sort of preserved and encouraged. Even more rare is to find a training monastery. There's many monasteries in the world, but most of them are not training monasteries. It's really difficult to find a place, a good place, to sort of come and experience the training. And it was my good fortune to somehow make my way to Thailand in the late 1980s and late 1990s. No, early 1990s. Boy, I'm getting old. I can't even keep my decades straight. And somehow I always think it has to do with good past karma. fairly easily find myself to Wat Pananachat. And Lumpur Pasano was the abbot at that time. And I was able to kind of enter the training there. And I had a sense it was a good monastery. It was not hard for me to make a commitment to ask for the training and enter the training there. In fact, it still astounds me like how easy it was. It should be illegal for some young guy just to wander off the street and sort of say, "Can I stay here and train and become a monk?" And they don't shoo you away or kick you out. But instead you're given sort of every encouragement, and as well as the necessary kind of supports. And it would really only be years later, and in particular sort of helping build the monastery here and starting to kind of come into contact more with other sort of monastics of different traditions, trying to build communities or trying to train, that I really started to develop a more fulsome sort of understanding of just how lucky I was to find my way to Wat Pananachat, and in particular to connect with Lumpur Pasano and the disciples of Tanajan Cha. When I first came to America, it was mostly just to be a little bit closer to my family. My father's health was kind of in decline at that time, and Ajahn Jayasaro suggested that I come here. I'd actually volunteered after I first heard about Abhayagiri, because I thought it sounded like a very exciting thing. I remember vividly Ajahn Amaro coming to Wat Nanachat, and we had a tea time under our Lumpur Pasano's kuti. And after tea time was over, Lumpur Pasano gave him a chance to talk about the project that he was engaged in California. And he had these little maps that he had drawn up, and he was talking about Sangapala and San Francisco and building a monastery in California. And I remember thinking it sounded quite exciting. Me and my friend, who was also an American, who was kind of my ordination partner, we had good fun sort of joking and imagining what a California monastery would be. And the first thing we decided was that the chanting would have to change completely. And we'd have to come up with new chanting. I mean, homage to the Buddha wouldn't work. You couldn't call it dukkha, it'd have to be stuff. The Buddha taught the four truths of stuff. There is stuff. There is a reason stuff exists. There is a resolution to stuff and the way leading to the end of your stuff. At the end of the Dhamma talk, people wouldn't say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. They say awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm a child of the 80s, so awesome. And I remember Ajahn Amaro was like talking, and a lot of the young monks were sitting around kind of listening to him, and Ajahn Pasana was like in the back corner on the stairs, like just watching everybody. And at this time, nobody knew that Lumpur Pasano had already talked to Ajahn Amaro and was planning to come help sort of found the monastery. And so like we were listening to Ajahn Amaro, and I remember Lumpur Pasano was just in the back sort of like listening and watching, and not knowing sort of where he was at all. I thought he was like kind of scowling and disapproving. We couldn't have ever imagined him being anything other than, sort of the habit of Wat Nanachat and spending out the rest of his life teaching and training monks in Thailand. So, and then it was maybe a few weeks later it was revealed that he would be coming. And I remember going to see him and saying, "Hey, if you need help, I'd be willing to come help, He says, "Oh, no, it's better you stay here and train, He says, "There's nothing there." I said, "That's what's exciting." I said, "I'd be happy just to live in a tent in California and watch a new monastery be born." He said, no, it's better you stay here and train. So I gave up on that. But then a couple years later, as things had it, Ajahn Jayasaro, given the circumstances, suggested that I came to spend at least a bit of time here. And that's why I came in the summer of 1998 and started spending time here. Later, not so long after that, my father did pass away, and I waited about a year to make sure my family was in a good state, and then I went back to Thailand with the idea of continuing my training in Thailand. But I think my conception at the time was like, well, maybe I could come back from time to time and sort of help out. And so when I went back to Thailand, I had a chance to live at Wat Pujankam. Ajahn Jayasaro had asked me to look after one of the hermitages connected to Wat Nanachat for a while, so I did that. And I spent some time on Tudong and with Thana Ajahn Ganha. And Lumpur Pasano came to Thailand for one of his annual visits, and I had a chance to go pay respects to him and was asking him how Abhayagiri was doing, and he was like telling me all the news, and then he told me, oh, Ajahn, our bhikkhu so-and-so left, and this monk went here, and that monk went here, and I said, oh no, it doesn't sound like you have much help. And he says, And I said, well, if you ever need me to come help, I'd be happy to. And he says, okay. And I said, you mean now? He goes, well. I said, well, can I finish my Tudong first? Sure. I really was interested to, continue my training and spend time in Thailand, but also, even by that time, feeling a lot of gratitude for this tradition and the training that I'd received, and in particular was just really motivated by not just the promise of Abhayagiri, but just recollecting back to sort of just the feeling of gratitude that I had for being able to sort of find a good training monastery and enter the sangha, receive excellent support and training. And it just seemed like such an obviously wonderful opportunity to lend a hand and help out in any way I could to get something established here for people who couldn't make it to Thailand or didn't have the karma to make it to Thailand. And so I came back and spent time at Abhayagiri and got pretty caught up in the whole thing. So I never spent any considerable time in Thailand after that. And like I said, I spent most of 12 years during the first half of Abhayagiri's establishment here, helping out as I could. So, and every time I come down here or even sort of meet with Abhayagiri monks, I feel a great sense of gratitude for having had the good fortune to be a part of this, and it really is an excellent community, an excellent monastery, and it offers so much to the world. On a day like this, it's nice to kind of reflect on just the power of generosity and what it can sort of bring into the world. We can think about the generosity of the Buddha himself, post-enlightenment. He wasn't all that inclined to teach. And at other times, he even talked about sort of like how it can be vexing to have students. Lumpur Cha echoed those same sentiments. It's not, even for an enlightened being. to sort of give of your time to kind of be present and to teach. And I would say especially to train young men who want to be monks. So they come sort of with great faith and say, please teach me, point out my faults, teach me. But then once you do it, they're not always so happy about it. So there's definitely days where it feels like a thankless job. But yeah, it's good, and it's important to remember just what it takes for something like this to sort of happen. It's the generosity of the Buddha. It's the generosity of Luang Por Chah establishing the community and patiently teaching and training and inspiring and encouraging people. It's all the efforts that Luang Por Sumedho and this, what I call the pioneering generation, sort of made, not just to sincerely kind of take up the Dhamma and train themselves, but also to train others and to build monasteries. So, most of them never aspired to be abbots or even to build monasteries. If you kind of interview them, it's like, why did you become abbot of Wat Nanachat? Because Luang Por Chah wanted me to. Or I remember when Ajahn Jayasaro took over the abbotship, Luang Por Chah had passed away, or was it had long kind of passed away. And he said, well, I know if he was alive, this is what he'd want me to do. Yeah. So it's a great act of generosity for these senior monks to kind of take on the responsibility to sort of build a monastery and to put down roots and give teachings to the laity and to train monks. And Abhayagiri is a sizable monastery. It's rare to find a monastery with this many monks, and they seem to just keep coming. It's a monk factory almost. I often tell people sort of like, in the early years we were struggling to kind of build kutis because there was all these kind of wonderful people inspired who really wanted to experience monastic life and training, and we had a long list and not enough space. On some level it's gotten a little bit better, but you still see there's five people in white, and I'm sure there's more queuing up for space. And now we have hermitages, and if everyone tried to come home, there wouldn't be enough space. So I have Abhayagiri monks kind of spread all over the world right now, living in different monasteries and countries. And one of them's gone on to become the abbot of Chittor's monastery, and Luang Por Amro now is the head of Amravati monastery. So, so reflecting on generosity, I don't see any clocks here. Reflecting on time. Just briefly, kind of like reflecting on generosity and gratitude. Sometimes these are seen as foundational or kind of basic kind of Buddhist practices. But one of the things I like to do is just contemplate sort of, what's the heart of the Dhamma? The heart of the Dhamma is all about bringing about an end to suffering. So, and that's kind of the key. Like, whenever we contemplate any kind of facet of Dhamma, because it is holistic. It all hangs together. It's a single Dhamma. And at the very heart of it is the kind of resolution or the elimination of suffering. So, when you take something like generosity, contemplate sort of like how this kind of plays in to the role of the ending of suffering. And there's a few, the Buddha says in the suttas in several places, like, aside from the many kind of benefits of practicing generosity, or as I like to call it, selfless giving, is just to eliminate the stain of miserliness. But put another way, it's the contraction of self-obsessiveness, greed, selfishness. So, in a very non-heady way, it feels good to give. But like what's going on a deeper level is like when we can't give easily or we're not empowered to give is really just it's just the manifestation of the self, the obsession with the self, the attachment to the self, and greed. So, like, it's not a basic practice. Like, just to be stingy is to be unwise. To be stingy is to be selfish. To be stingy is to be overcome, in a sense, with greed and attachment. And any practice of what I like to call selfless giving is to practice kind of like punching through that. And oftentimes when we talk about dana, or people think about dana, the focus is on cloth and food and buildings and the funds it takes to build and run a monastery. And of course those things are fundamental and important. But the kind of deeper sort of practice in generosity is the ability to sort of meet the moment, meet the opportunity, seize the opportunity in a way that is empty of self, empty of greed, empty of attachment. And that, of course, doesn't necessarily always involve the giving of cloth or requisites or money. That's much more about how it is that you relate to self and others, or relate to the world, or even relate to the environment. So, so even in the practice of generosity, we're kind of eliminating the ground for suffering and practicing relinquishment, practicing non-self, practicing sort of freeing ourselves. And just as important as practicing that kind of selfless giving and doing it for the best of reasons is also kind of developing a habit to be able to sort of like delight in that, like delight in witnessing that, but also delight and recall. The Buddha says recollect and recall and celebrate sort of your past kind of goodness. So, and I think my conditioning, and maybe others' conditioning too, is sometimes a bit fearful of that. It's like tooting your own horn or being a bit egotistic or something. But the Buddha very explicitly says, it's like, it's good to give and at the right time, in the right place, with a clarity of mind, for the best of reasons. And then it's also good to kind of, from time to time, sort of like recollect that and delight in that. Yeah. So, So for all of you who have had a hand, I see several faces in the room who have given many meals and much cloth and much time and much effort into sort of building this community. I always think of these occasions as not just an opportunity to give, but also an opportunity for both the sangha and the laity to sort of just remember what has been given, And again, all the way from the teachings, the the efforts from our excellent sort of teachers, and then the support to build the facilities, and then all the people willing to come and give of their time to sort of meet the Dhamma, listen to the Dhamma, practice the Dhamma, and try to then kind of manifest that in their own being for themselves and also for the benefit of the world. And it's literally been thousands and thousands of meals, thousands of hands. One of the things I love about the way that Paba has been playing out the last few years is there's this whole train of people sort of offering kind of cloth. And I think of it as the many hands. Yeah. People kind of come. It's unusual at many kind of Kathina ceremonies you'll go to. Oftentimes there's sort of a designated donor or the head sponsor, and they're just offering a single sort of piece of cloth, and then maybe there's a table to the side with all the other cloth on it. But I think it's kind of beautiful here how everyone has a chance to kind of come up and make a very beautiful presentation of all these packages of cloth, you know, with their own hand. And it's received by the sangha. And yeah, the monks have very good sewing room here now. The best in the world with $1 million view. And they're experts at turning all this stuff into cloth requisites. And I'd say they're even passionate and zealous about their about their craft and sort of making robes and dyeing robes. And as a senior monk, I'm kind of the beneficiary of this now. So I haven't been doing much sewing, but the young monks, they're really good at it, and it gives them an opportunity to give. Like I just came down here, my robe was looking very faded, and one of the younger monks came up to me right away and said, "Ajahn, can I get your robe from you at some point, and maybe I could dye it?" And I said, "Wow, that'd be wonderful." And then he handed it back to me, looking better than ever. So, and then today I sat down at the meal, and then I sort of said, "You know, I have these little collapsible chopsticks, and I need a little case to put them in or something. They're just in this cheap piece of cellophane right now." And then when I sat down at the meal today, they had crafted this beautiful little Purple Heart wooden case, or just amazing little thing for my travel chopsticks. Complete with a magnetic hasp. And, so they're worthy recipients of all this cloth, and it will go to good use. And oftentimes they're making robes to give to other visiting senior monks or send off to other monasteries. There's a time or two then when I've come down here and had to truck several jackets back to Canada for Ajahn Sona that the monks have sewn down here. So it's a wonderful thing. But the many hands, you know, the many hands and all the effort over the years to build what we have here is to be rejoiced in and celebrated. So, and maybe I'll wrap up my reflections for the day and just express my gratitude and invite you all to sort of reflect on your own and arouse a sense of gratitude for everything that's been given and our good fortune to be a part of this community and to be able to gather here and enjoy the wealth of Dhamma and the sincerity of practice that happens here at Abhayagiri Monastery. So wish you all well and freedom from suffering and happiness and bliss. So without Ajahn Yanako, I don't know what happens next, but I'm going to pay respects to the Buddha, and I'll be around to visit with people, but also I want to check on the monks to see how the sewing's going. So, and I think it's kind of open for people to go. Yeah. So the monks are probably cutting and already stitching the Kathina robe, and if people want to witness that, or can they help this year too? Or yeah, even if you want to help, put in a couple stitches. Head over to the dining hall, so and you can kind of see it's like a quilting bee. So that looks dangerous. I'm just gonna go on.